Hey there, lead heads. This is Lefty. Before we get into this awesome interview with Chief Warrant Officer retired Greg Coker, which if you're just tuning in to hear the announcement of who won the contest, you're going to cut yourself short. You're going to do yourself a disservice if you don't listen to this entire episode, because it's an awesome interview with Greg, and it's a two-part episode. We went so long I had to cut it up into two parts. So this is part one. And our pre-show announcement here is going to be the winner of the Talking Lead and Friends Freedom Giveaway. So if you missed out on this, you've been living under a rock, because we ran it all through the month of September. It was a huge giveaway. We had over $6,000 in prizes that is going to one lucky lead head. One person wins it all, and we're going to find out who that is coming up. But a big thanks to everyone, all of our partners that took part in this giveaway. We couldn't have done it without everybody chipping in with the awesome prizes. Firebird Targets, big thanks to Firebird Targets. STA Blades, Jared over at STA Blades. Our friends over at Enforce and Vortex for the weapon lights and the optics. Tactical RX, Brett over there for the awesome iPro. Walker Ears for the Ear Pro, the ATAX electronic earbuds that Walker Ears put up. Defiant Munition, supplying the 9mm and the 5.56 ammo. Kraken Case Company for their awesome Sigma rifle case that they put up. Seal One and done. So you got a cleaning kit, CLP kit, and a cleaning rod kit. The winner's going to get that. And then, of course, this was in celebration of 10 years of Talking Lead and the release of our new logo, designed by our good friends over at Black Tie Digital Marketing, and they also helped us put together the media for this giveaway. So big thanks to Black Tie over there, and Dipstick Branding for the t-shirt and hat that the winner is going to receive with the new Talking Lead logos on those. And then, of course, our buddies over at Keltec, Matt and Chad, putting together those awesome pictures, the promotional pictures that we had, and Keltec for supplying the RDB Defender rifle, the P15 pistol, and the KS7 shotgun. Keltec. And then none of this would have been possible without the gang over at Mission First Tactical, putting this whole Gleam giveaway together for you guys to enjoy and have an opportunity to be the boss at the range with all these awesome prizes that everybody put up. And they put in, with Mission First Tactical, their new bags that they have, their new acro bags. So one super lucky winner is going to get all this: the Mission First Tactical drinkware, the custom holster for the P15, Mission First throwing some mags in there. Now, of course, this winner still has to be eligible. So when we announce the winner's name, and we're not going to say the full name here, but we will get in touch with the winner, you're going to have to prove that you are legally eligible for these prizes. And if you're not, then we're going to go and pick another winner. So here it is. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is, he's from Pennsylvania, and his name is Christopher L. Christopher L. from Pennsylvania is the winner. And don't shoot me emails, contact us saying, hey, I haven't heard from you. We will contact you via the email that you provided in the contest. And if you didn't give us a valid email and we don't hear from you, we're going to give you 2 weeks. You get 2 weeks to get in touch with us. If not, then we're going to pick another winner. So we're going to contact you via that email address. So be looking for it, and make sure you respond back to us, and we'll tell you all the information that we need for you to verify your eligibility. So there you go. Congratulations, and thank you to all you leadheads that took part in this. This is one of our most successful promotions that we've done, and it's all thanks to you leadheads spreading the word and participating, listening, and that's how you win here on the Talking Lead podcast. So one more thing, leadheads, before we get into this episode with Greg Coker. And again, you're going to want to listen to this episode. Greg is a former AH-6 pilot with the 160th SOAR. He's got some great stories about his time in the military. He even got shot down. You're going to hear that story. His book, Death Waits in the Dark, Six Guns Don't Miss. It's an awesome book, so you're going to want to hear him talk about that. You're going to want to go to Amazon and get it. And then, of course, he makes knives. He's a knife maker, a custom knife maker. So we're going to talk about Blades for Brothers, his company that he started to help his fellow military, first responders, men and women. So, but before we do that, big announcement. Give a big Leadhead welcome to Talking Lead's newest sponsors, Whiskey River Beef. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Prentice Holt is joining us to make this big announcement, owner of Whiskey River Beef. Some of you longtime Leadheads probably know him as P-Dog. I think you've probably outgrown that name by now.
I think I like it, but yeah, I believe that's something of the past, Marty.
That was our younger days, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, when we were wild and free.
Prentice has started a new company, and it's a local farm that he's got here. It's a family-owned farm, and it's called Whiskey River Beef, and there's a rhyme and reason to the name, but you guys are going to be excited about this because we're all meat eaters on this show, on the Talking Lead podcast. We love our beef. Tell us about Whiskey River Beef.
Marty, thank you again for the opportunity, and this is super, super exciting for us. So, Whiskey River Beef came about from the idea that getting back into hobby farming was going to be really fun. Well, boy, it's been really challenging, but really, really rewarding for us too. So we came up with the idea that Whiskey River Beef, farm-to-table supplier of quality, nurtured beef, would be a huge hit for those, who have healthy lifestyles, who have busy lifestyles, who like the idea of being able to fill their freezer and rather go pay these crazy grocery store prices, just walk out and grab a succulent steak or a pack of hamburger and hit the grill and life's good, right?
Yeah.
But we wanted to kind of take that to another level. Aside of food serving as a form of medicine and playing a crucial role in nurturing resilient and thriving communities and lifestyles, we wanted to change this up and go, hey, so not only are we grass-fed, but the beauty of our farm being located in whiskey country in the foothills of Middle Tennessee, we also add to the diet of being whiskey mash fed and finished, along with being grass fed and finished.
So the benefit of being mash fed, and again, you guys can guess which whiskey company here in Tennessee that this could possibly be coming from. We're not going to name names, but it adds a whole nother flavor to the beef.
Yeah, the flavor profile is phenomenal. Beef is great as it is. I'm a huge red meat eater, but the flavor profile as a whole is just phenomenal. And it the nutritional value, surprisingly enough, the nutritional value that goes into our beef is very important to us because of the farm to table aspect and the healthy lifestyle. I've had this stuff looked at, wet lab tested. It just adds a whole nother layer of nutrition and flavor. I mean, how can you lose with something like that?
You can't. It's a win-win.
That's right.
Drunk beef is the best.
Drunk beef is always the best.
Drunk best. So I had the opportunity, you and I today got the opportunity to travel with you to Whiskey River Farm and, kind of see some of the farm and the cattle that you got there. And, it was very impressive. So I got to say, just right off the bat, I was like, oh, wow, man, I didn't realize your operation was, actually this big. You guys are going to be able to supply nationwide. So what's great about your service is it doesn't matter if you're in Tennessee, you could be any part of the country and you guys are able to, with your shipping process that you have and packing process, get people fresh beef, within, whatever the shipping time is, within a day, a couple of days. They can have
absolutely. So
from the website to order it to their doorstep. Boom.
That's right. That's right. So our beef is flash frozen at processing at -10 degrees. We feel like the flash freezing piece of it is for the best nutritional value as well.
And you guys do something else that you're not going to get from just your regular old, going to the supermarket or butcher. Is you let that stuff dry age for 14 days.
A minimum of 14, absolutely. Yeah. Our average is about 14 days. It dry ages. We found that's the magical number for the full flavor profile of our beef, and that's what we've been sticking to. I mean, it's just simply fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I can't wait for you lead heads to get this to your doorstep. You can go on Whiskey River's website. It's whiskeyriverbeef.com, and you can go there and see the different packages that they have that you guys can order.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marty. So we offer basically a farmer's recommendation, which is going to be what we call shares. Shares are purchasing portions of a cow, whether it be an eighth, a quarter, a half, or a whole. We are in the process of adding to our inventory for individual bundle sales. So if they go to the website, they can take a peek at the store, look at what we're offering. We'll have some more fulfillment going on here very shortly. But we can even take deposits that will secure spots for 2024 for our beef shares. Nice. There's a lot of description about the variations of the beef shares, and those are certainly our big farmer recommendations for this time of year, well, all year, and for most of the folks who are living a busy lifestyle. So it's certainly a win-win all the way around.
Definitely. So guys, go check them out on their website, and they just started the Instagram. So you go follow them on Instagram, and this is how we're going to know that you guys are listening to this and that you heard the message. You go to @Whiskey River Life on Instagram. That's WhiskeyRiverLife. There's no underscores or anything, right, Prentice?
No underscores. It's just Whiskey River Life for Instagram and Whiskey River Beef for Facebook.
For the Facebook. And then you're going to have links on your website that they can go and link in with all this too. But Leadheads, go to the Instagram. Let him know how much you appreciate them jumping on board, being sponsors of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade, and go to the website and order some beef. You're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to regret it. I've tasted it. It's fabulous, and I want more. I want some more, Prentice. So
eat more beef, buddy. Eat more beef. Hey, filling the freezer is certainly worthwhile.
But there are big things coming outside of what we're talking about here with Whiskey River, and we'll make those announcements in the future as they become available. Excited to have you guys on board, Prentice, and really appreciate the support for the show and for the Leadhead Brigade.
Man, it's our pleasure, and we're certainly excited to be a part of this, a part of the community. We couldn't be any more excited or happy. So thank you so much for the opportunity, guys.
That's right. And don't be surprised if there might be some giveaways in the future too, Leadheads. Just saying, and some discount codes.
Little birdie's been talking, I'd say.
That's right. So it depends on your reaction. So guys, go and show him the love on the Instagrams. Let him know that you heard him here and you're interested. Go to the website and see what they've got to offer. Give them an order.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Prentice, the show is about to begin, so Leadheads, without further ado, our very special guest, Chief Warrant Officer, retired Greg Coker, knife maker, author, and just an amazing storyteller. So roll that beautiful bean footage.
Mission First Tactical is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
Oh, this was your wife's decision, not yours, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a big 3-bay building. Hey, I need that thing cleaned out Wednesday. This was Tuesday night. Why? tractors parked in there, and stuff. She goes, I need it cleaned out. I said, okay. So I called Jared.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I need some help, man. So he came over, and we got it all cleaned out, and he was like, what's up? I said, I don't know. She won't tell me. And so next Thursday morning, I got a little knife shop there in half of a garage, 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Dude pulls up. I opened the door. I was like, what do you want? Just back, He says, I'm here to insulate. I said, insulate what? He goes, that building right there. I said, on whose authority? He goes, Mrs. Coker? I said, oh, okay. I started laughing, Went over and hugged his neck, shook his hand. She had it all spray foamed, and then she hired a carpenter, a contractor. They came the very next day, started framing stuff up, and we're gonna have a bunkhouse in there, so it'll sleep four dudes.
Okay.
And, and they come in. I don't know how familiar you are with the nonprofit, but
no, we're gonna talk about that. I want you to talk about that on the show. Tell us more about and all about it.
So this is gonna be the new Blades for Brothers shop. It's gonna be awesome, man.
It sounds like it.
I'm pretty excited. It's going to be cool.
It sounds like your wife's got it all under control.
She always does.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Somebody you can rely on there, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm blessed. And she's cool.
Good.
She's pretty hot, too. She's pretty smoking hot.
Pretty smoking hot. Well, you better not get her on camera then, because...
Yeah.
No, she's more welcome to join us if you want her to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she can hop on.
You know who Dale Brisby is by chance?
Dale Brisby?
Yeah.
It kind of sounds familiar.
YouTube and Snapchat. He's got like 100 jillion followers, but he does rodeo, western. He's got a show on Netflix also called How to Be a Cowboy.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's our son.
That's your son?
Yeah, well, it's Edie's son. I'm married to his mom.
Okay. How to Be a Cowboy. I'll have to look that up.
Dale Brisby. Yeah, he's funny, man. He's got it going on. But my wife, Edie, she has a commercial embroidery company. And we embroider all his hats.
Oh, nice.
We got a pretty cool operation. We got a couple of big CNC machines, embroidery machines. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I'm not that popular, so.
No, me either. Me either.
We just do what we can do with what we've got.
Yes. Yeah.
Make the best.
So what's your background, brother?
My background.
I'll be darned.
And then I got into the...
Huh. I'll be darned.
Did that for several years and got tired of working for the government and got out of that, got into the...
Nice.
So did that for several years and got tired of that and decided I wanted to do my own thing, so I got into... I was doing this podcast, started this podcast about 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago now.
Huh.
And just a hobby, just something I enjoyed doing, and then been doing this full time.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as cool as your background, but that's the day in the life of just a regular old Joe right there.
Yeah. Me too. Just another day at the office.
Yeah. Well, you got a pretty interesting background, though, so...
Yeah.
That's why you do all these podcasts and shows and write books and people sing songs about you, man.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, they probably got my picture out on their IPSC targets at the range.
Oh, I doubt that. Maybe overseas they do, but not here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was stationed at Fort Campbell for 20 years, right there in Clarksville.
Yeah, you just up the road. I'm in Murfreesboro.
Yeah. We used to rodeo there in Murfreesboro, go to ropings. And I was a calf roper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I rodeoed before.
Did you do that in Murfreesboro or did you do that at Shelbyville?
Everywhere.
All over?
Yeah. But they had ropings there in Murfreesboro and then down in Trinity, a little bitty Trinity, Tennessee. It's kind of, about 40 miles from Nashville. They do jackpot ropings on Sundays. And
okay.
yeah, it was dang. Oh, actually, yeah, there's a trophy bag sitting on my saddle right there. It's Tennessee Valley Ropers Association.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Small world.
1990, year-end champion.
1990. I would have been at MTSU then, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I was at MTSU.
Good times.
Did they do that? They did that close to the college, didn't they? Didn't they have like an arena?
Yeah, they've got a really nice facility.
They've done it up, yeah, since then. When's the last time you were out here?
They'd have the finals. Some association would have their finals in there every year. Yeah, we'd go to the finals and try to make some money.
Well, you must have done pretty good at it. You was traveling around all over.
Yes, sir. I did. Yeah, before I came in the Army, I went pro. I was a bulldogger and calf roper.
Okay. So you traveled the circuit, huh?
Yes, sir.
You got the bell buckles to prove it.
Yes, sir. I do.
You got them big, giant, gold, shiny thingies.
Oh, goodness.
Now, you're in Texas, right?
Yes, sir. About 2 hours west of Fort Worth.
Okay. You and Jared are real close?
Yeah, we're 20 minutes away.
Oh, okay. Man, y'all are real close then.
Yeah. Yeah, come down, man. We'll shoot some pigs. I shot a pig last night.
Did you really?
Yeah, out my back door.
Rub it in, man.
Yeah. I bet there were 30, 35 pigs at that. I got a feeder. We have feeders here in Texas. And I love to watch the deer. And, of course, just for the grandkids and veterans, I'll bring vets in here and let them hunt, shoot deer, shoot pigs. And, it's good fellowship, therapy.
Yeah, very good.
Introducing the Extreme Duty Polymer Mag from Mission First Tactical. MFT brings long-glass fiber technology to its new Extreme Duty Polymer Mag, giving it the best strength and durability for polymer magazine bodies to date. With military and law enforcement demanding reliability, the Extreme Duty Polymer Mag is 50% stronger and 3 times more impact resistant compared to traditional glass-filled nylon. The 4-way anti-tilt self-lubricating follower, constant internal curve design, and coated USGI spec stainless steel spring together keep rounds feeding reliably. Additionally, the oversized bolt catch increases bolt catch clearance. We have added a flared floor plate, but kept the slim bottom design, which gives excellent drop protection and ease of handling, while still allowing for fitment in double and triple magazine pouches. Toolless disassembly and double safety releases stop accidental ammo dumps and makes cleaning a snap. A thickened lower exterior adds to dimensional rigidity and maintained internal geometry, while well-defined front and rear rib finger impressions create aid in handling even with gloved hands. And texture blocks on both sides of the body are ideal for thumb placement. This duty mag also features dual-sided flat body panels for a variety of printed or laser designs. The Extreme Duty Polymer Magazine is optimized for use in Colt Spec AR-15M4 platforms, but is also compatible with other platforms such as HK416 variants, British SA-80, FM SCAR 16, and more. To find out more, visit www.missionfirsttactical.com.
Well, we're gonna talk about all that, and of course we want to talk blades on this episode with you, Greg. So we'll just go ahead and start. I mean, we got some good content here anyway, so we'll just go ahead and let her roll. Is that all right with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're the boss.
I don't know about that. But I think your wife's the boss. That's who the boss is.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the voice that you hear there is our special guest today, Greg Coker. And Greg he wears many hats and has worn many hats. He is a retired Chief Warrant Officer. He flew with the Night Stalkers, the 160th SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. Airborne.
Airborne, all the way, baby.
We're an airborne unit.
I had Al Mampry on the show a couple of years ago. We met him at SHOT Show. And Al was one of the Band of Brothers, like one of the original Band of Brothers. He was a medic.
Yes, sir.
And we had the honor and privilege of having Al on 101st Airborne.
Dang, that's cool, man.
Yeah, the greatest generation back then.
Absolutely.
And we're just about, all those guys are just about all gone, unfortunately.
They are. Yeah. I think too, when historians look back, start to write about our generation, my generation, I don't know, we may be coined as the second best generation.
The second best?
Yeah, I mean, we've been at war for 20 years, man.
I know, a lot longer. I don't think there's been any generation, in modern history that's, obviously our country, that's been at war that long.
No.
Never. So
never will be.
It's going to be interesting to see how, and history's already starting to be written because, like you said, 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. There's been a lot of movies, a lot of books written. And speaking of books, you're also an author. Greg's also an author, and
I wrote a children's book too.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
With your daughter, right?
After I finished my book, my daughter approached me. It was a couple months after I finished Death Waits in the Dark. She goes, "Hey, you want to write another book?" And I said, "No, I do not." And she goes, "How about a children's book?" And I says, "Oh, okay." So
quite a bit of different book. You went from one to the other as far as the content goes there. But talk about the book that you wrote, the first book.
Death Waits in the Dark.
Death Waits in the Dark. And Six Guns, what was that?
Six Guns Don't Miss. SGDM.
Very nice.
Colonel Beckwith, Sergeant Charlie Beckwith, coined that name for us in 1981 when the unit was rehearsing for the second attempt to rescue the hostages in Iran. I don't know how many people know about that, but after the catastrophe on Desert One, then Beckwith came back, went to Congress, went to the heads and Joint Chiefs and said, "I want Army helicopter pilots flying Army helicopters." And that's when the 160th was born. So, it was AHs and Black Hawks. The Black Hawks.
So you're almost in at the beginning of when they were formed. Because you went in service, in the mid-'80s?
86, yes, sir.
In 86?
I didn't get... Okay, I found this on the web for 86 yesterday. Check it out.
Is that your Alexa?
That was Siri.
Siri?
That's crazy. How do I turn that?
They're listening, buddy. They're listening to us, everything we say.
Listening. So he formed a very rapidly in extremis Army unit. Of course, they took them all from the 101st and took Cobra guys. And they had Loaches, OH-6s at the time, Little Birds, and put miniguns on them. And from the story that I was told, they were rehearsing out in the western United States, out in the desert, getting ready to go back to Iran. And 2H's landed. Colonel Beckwith was standing there. Of course, guys, they get out and they're all dirty, dusty, and nasty, and because that's who we are.
That's the environment too, Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks at him. Of course, the two miniguns. He says, "Okay, I'm going to refer to you and call you guys the Six Guns from this day forward." He said, "You look like the old gunfighters from the old West. You're dirty and nasty, and your helicopter's got two miniguns that look like six guns."
Two miniguns.
Yeah. So that's
like the old Western 6-gun shooters?
Yes, sir. Yeah, one on each hip.
Yeah. The Lone
Yeah,
Ranger.
the book was, oh my goodness, man. It was 15 years in the making, and I had some very close friends really beat me up over the years. Of course, George Hand and Kyle Lamb, Sergeant Major Kyle Lamb.
He lives down here in down below Nashville.
Kyle's your neighbor, man.
I know. We keep missing each other at Royal Range. He and Art, my buddy Art, are good friends, and I miss him quite a bit. He's like, "Oh, you just missed Lamb. He was in here."
Yeah, he's a hoot, man.
That's what I've heard. I've been wanting to get him on the show. So.
Yeah, he needs to get on the show. He's a funny cat.
Oh,
good dude.
That's what I've heard. And
he's a new knife maker also.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of you guys are getting into the forging business.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so, and after I retired, I was an instructor for Kyle at Viking Tactics. And, of course, we were...
Oh, that's cool.
You know, we've been good buddies since the 90s. And he'd always tell me, we get to talk about writing, and he's like, "You need to write a book, Gravy." And I was like, "I'm not writing a damn book. You know, I don't want to be that guy, and I don't. And he would always say, and this has stuck with me for many, many, many years. Now I tell it to people that, you know, contact me and are like, "Hey, I'm thinking about writing a book," a veteran or a wife or a mother or whatever.
Right.
But Kyle would always tell me, he's like, if it ain't written, it never happened.
That's true. The palest ink is better than the world's best memory.
Absolutely.
Something like that. I don't know what that exact saying is, but yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I thought about that a lot. And the good Lord, he put me in, I mean, so many of these places at different times. And I'd be like, okay, you know, what do I expect next? But
well, you know, I think that's a bad stigma that the military instills in our soldiers, our men and women. You know, that you have to be the silent professional, and that, you know, you can't talk about anything that you've done over there. You know, and I think, and like you said, you know, there's more and more people coming forward and starting to write books. But I think it's more therapeutic than anything for.
It's cathartic. It's very, very therapeutic.
It helps you deal with the atrocities and, you know, things that you had to deal with, the horror and, you know, the stress. Yeah.
Yeah, the demons, the dragons.
And dragons. And it helps to talk. You got to talk. You got to get it out. And I think that's probably been one of the worst things that the military could have done is, you know, really make you feel bad about coming forth and talking about your time and your service. Now, I understand there's classified things and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
But there's plenty of other that they could still get out there and talk about. And it helps civilians like myself, you know, understand that's never been through that before.
You bet.
It helps us better relate to our servicemen and women in the real world when we run into them out on the street.
Yes. Yeah, and it's, you know, the more I thought about it, and I'm a Christian, and I prayed about it a bunch, and then I don't remember how Gio and I have been friends for many, many years, and he was writing for one of the big internet companies, and he goes, "Hey, Coke." Oh no, I stopped. I was doing some training out in New Mexico, some firearms training one year, and stopped in Albuquerque and spent the night with Gio. That's what happened. And we stayed up all night, man, talking and catching up, you know. And so I started telling, he's like, "Hey, man, tell me about the dam, or tell me about this mission." So I was all night, you know. I was like,
yeah.
So I leave, get back home, and he's like, "Hey, Coke, why don't you write a couple paragraphs for me? I want to put this stuff out there, you know." I said, "No, George, no. He's like, "Come on, man." And he stayed after me for about a year.
Yeah,
it took a year and I wrote a couple pages about, I think the dam was the first one. Anyway, I wound up, I believe it was Soft Rep he was writing for.
Yeah.
And very, very, very cool writer. George Hand. And, so I wrote some stories, and then he kept, pimping me for more. He's like, bro, and then the editors are emailing me, and they're like, hey, we had like 100,000 hits on this story. Can you write some more? And I wound up writing probably 7 or 8 stories, and George called me one day, goes, Cope, we got enough for a book, brother. And he was really asking me to write too. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of these historical events, and I was just right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time, however you want to put it. But that's where I was, and it was nothing I volunteered for, trust me. But
I've heard a little story about that. Wasn't something that you volunteered for. You want to talk about that?
I can't recall, man. I have no knowledge.
I don't think that made it in the book, did it?
Did it have to do with a train?
It might have had to do something with your old spaghetti Western mentality, yeah.
We're not going to talk about that.
We'll skip that one.
Yeah. Oh, it slipped on a podcast somewhere, and
I think that's where I heard it. Yeah, it's out there.
A bunch of my buddies were like, dude, you got to put this in the book. I said, man, I might want to run for office one day, or county commissioner. Or,
make it even better. That would get you elected in a heartbeat, definitely.
I know. It would in Texas.
Definitely would in Texas. Have you born and raised in Texas?
No, my dad was in the military, and I was born in Santa Maria, California. He was stationed out there at Lompoc and Edwards Air Force Base in 1960. And then we moved around. My parents divorced in, I think, like 68 or 69. Mother was from Central Illinois.
Okay.
And so that's where we wound up. And then I got kinfolk down here, and my grandmother at the time lived down here. And so the day after I graduated high school, I left, came down here, and just trying to figure life out.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Now, your dad, you said he was at Edwards Air Force Base back in the 60s?
Yes.
Yeah, so you part of any UFO programs or anything like that?
At that time, he was a missile man. Worked, missile projects. And Lompoc had a missile base there on the coast. And he did 30 years. He retired as a Command Master Chief.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Was he a big factor in your success in the military? Now, I mean, I know you probably would eventually joined anyway, but
yes, yeah, he influenced and kind of guided me in the path. But I wanted to fly. I was a child of the '60s, of course. And, of our 2 TV channels back then, it was the Vietnam War and it was the helicopter war. So as a kid, I'd sit there and, watch these whirly birds flying around.
Yeah.
I drew, Hueys, loaches, cobras, and I drew pictures of them, all kinds of stuff when I was a kid. But, and I wanted to fly, and the Army was the only vehicle at the time. I didn't have a degree. So Air Force, Marine, Navy, you have to have a 4-year college degree. And, of course, in the Army, their thing is from high school to flight school. You can literally graduate high school and then start flight school after basic, that summer. So and that's he recommended I enlist, and that's what I did. So.
Yeah, and then you 22 years?
Yes, sir.
22 years retired. Good for you. And you said your dad did 30 years, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And he was in Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force. So did y'all have some interesting conversations between the two of you with the Air Force and Army?
We did. We still do. He lives less than 2 hours from us. So.
Oh, nice. So you still have your dad with you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be 85 here next week.
Wow, he's young. He must have had you real young then.
Yeah, he was a baby.
Well, happy birthday to Papa Coker.
Yes, sir. October 3rd.
October. That's coming up, man. That's just around the corner.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's ironic. I said, well, that's the anniversary of the Battle of Mogadishu too, Pop. And he's like, I know it. So, yeah.
Now, what about him? Have you ever encouraged him to write a book?
I never even thought about it.
What?
That's interesting that you said that.
Yeah, I figured that would be like one of those top things, man. Yeah, you need to get him aside and start interviewing him and get his memoirs down.
I want to start doing that, Lefty.
Yeah.
Great idea.
I mean, like I said, we're losing those guys left and right, so that generation is we're losing. We need to hold on to it, because when that generation goes, all their values and morals are going too.
Yes. And always remember, if it ain't written, it never happened.
It never happened. That's right. Yeah. That's a great saying.
Back to the book. I kind of get off on these.
No, that's fine. This is great.
Too many head injuries, so I kind of, something shiny or.
Yeah, I chase squirrels all the time.
A squirrel, space shuttle. So George, it took me about a year. I wrote a bunch of stories, short stories, but they were getting jillions and jillions of hits over the internet. And Gio was like, hey man, we got enough for a book, Well, on 9/11, on that day, I started a journal and wrote in that journal every day for 8 years.
Really?
Every mission, every emotion, every pissed off.
Now this has got to be, so if you in the 86 and this was 2001, so you just started doing it. What spurred you to want to? What in your mind clicked as I gotta do a memoir here? I gotta record this.
That this was in fact going to be history, and I wanted to capture it, and I didn't want it to be lost, and I wrote it for my children. And when I retired and got home, I put it in my gun safe, and I told them, I said, there it is. You can't get it till I'm dead, because there's classified stuff in it,
Yeah.
I just don't want that stuff getting out. And I probably should go in there and redact it, but I'm not going to.
No, don't do that.
And
don't do that.
So yeah, I started that journal, man, on that day, and if I hadn't had that, I wouldn't have had near the content or, the very detailed stories.
Yeah, because you go back and read those, and then that gets the memory going. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yes, yeah. So it's great to have that jog my memory or add things, and again, I did not want to write this, man. I just did not want to. And
why so hesitant? Why were you so against it?
Well, in the Army Special Operations community, we take our mottos very seriously, and one of them is the quiet professional, and I take that seriously.
Yeah.
And
I
just struggle with it.
Yeah.
I struggle with it, but here in the last 5 years, 10 years, really, crap, everybody's writing a book.
20, yeah, the past 20 years.
20. And there at the time there had only been 2 books written about the 160th. That's it. There was no information out there about the unit, our unit.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. And
I guess the first time I heard about them was
probably Black Hawk Down.
About 5, 6. Well, yeah, but I was at Rock Castle up in Kentucky.
Yeah, I used to shoot there.
Yeah, they used to have a Night Stalker event deal. So I may have met you during one of those.
You know what? Probably Tony Ely and some old 160th and 5th group guys.
Yeah, I had asked Jared if you knew. I dropped a name. I don't want to do it over there because he may not want it on the air, but I had dropped a name and asked him to ask you if you knew him or not. So I didn't know if he did that or not. I'll ask you off air.
Yeah. Remember that.
Hey there, Leadhead Brigade. Lefty here with some important news for you. Forecasters from the University of Arizona warn that 2023 will be a very active hurricane season, and they're asking people to get prepared. They're expecting the number of major hurricanes this year to be similar to 2017, which saw the extremely intense and damaging hurricanes that we all heard about, Harvey, Irma, and that nasty old Maria. How bad can it get? Well, when Hurricane Ida hit the Gulf Coast, it destroyed countless homes and left many without access to food, clean water. Millions lost power. Most didn't have power for weeks. The floods that followed the hurricane washed out the roads, made it impossible for grocery stores to restock their shelves. Families were left hungry and desperate, waiting for help that was slow to arrive. But what if you didn't have to be reliant on the government, FEMA, your neighbor, grocery stores during these crises? The answer is simple. Be prepared with emergency food kits from 4 Patriots. Their long-lasting, delicious food options are specifically designed to provide you and your loved ones with the sustenance you need when you need it the most. 4 Patriots survival food kits are hand-packed in the USA. They last 25 years. They come packed inside covert storage totes. They include a wide variety of delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners. They've even got some snacks that are tasty. And they're backed by thousands of 5-star customer reviews. Just go check out their website, 4patriots.com, and read them for yourself. 4 Patriots survival food is not just for natural disasters, because in today's world of uncertain supply chains and unpredictable emergencies, it's more important than ever to have a backup plan. Whether it's a temporary power outage, a winter blizzard, or rising food costs, which we're all feeling that these days, right? You can rest easy knowing that you have a reliable source of food to see you through it. And right now, you can go to 4patriots.com and use this exclusive code, LEADHEAD, all caps, LEADHEAD, one word, to get 10% off your first purchase on anything in the store, not just their food kits. So go check them out, 4patriots.com. Use the code LEADHEAD to get 10% off your first purchase of 4 Patriots survival food. That's 4patriots.com, guys. Use the code LEADHEAD and get that 10% off.
So yeah, so that's kind of where I was in that process, and so I just actually Edie and I were sitting in the den one evening, and we're talking about writing. She's teaching English, and she's just an amazing writer and a wordsmith, and she's like, I'll help you. I said, okay. She goes, look, here's how I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this, that you will write this for your children and for your grandchildren. This is your legacy. And also for the American people.
Yeah.
They're hungry for information.
Absolutely. Absolutely they are.
And then she added, and for the other guys that are thinking about this, that you can, mentor and lead and help. And man, I've had dozens and dozens contact me. Hey, Greg, I said, good. Yeah, here's what you do. You write a sentence a day or a paragraph a week, and before you know it, man, you've got a story. And do this for your children and your grandchildren.
Absolutely. Can you imagine if, World War I, World War II, men and women would have written their stories down and done that? Can you imagine the education that we could have gained from that and understanding, and how much better our military would be? Yeah,
even Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the couple books written about helicopters, Hugh Mills, famous Loach pilot, and some of the other guys. Holy cow, man. I mean, I was a sponge reading those things and hang on every word that they wrote.
Yeah.
And it helped me as a Little Bird guy later in life. It sure did. Yeah. And I pray that on November 10th out in Mesa, Arizona, they're doing the Little Bird fly-in. And I'm taking an aircraft out there. A friend of mine's got a Loach.
Oh, nice.
And we're taking it out there, and I'm going to fly that dude into the Little Bird fly-in. And Mr. Hugh Mills is going to, because I've always wanted to fly with him. So we're going to get to do that.
So tell me about Hugh Mills. What's he known for?
He flew Loaches in Vietnam, and he wrote a book, Low Level Hell is what he wrote, and he's just a cool guy. Yeah, I've known him I've never met him, but we've talked, and I don't remember how we met, on the internet or something. Reached out to him, but yeah, just a neat guy.
So that's coming up pretty soon. You know, you know what what's better than owning a little bird is having a friend that owns one.
Yeah. Yes.
That's like the boat. You know, what's better than owning a boat? Having a friend that owns one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this little bird, it's really cool. A buddy of mine, I don't know if he wants me to mention his name or not, so I won't.
Sure.
He found this helicopter, and I said, hey, get the historicals. It's part of a pre-buy for aircraft, so you have somebody competent, in maintenance and can read that stuff. And so he sent me a copy of it. Well, this helicopter was one of the original B Company, first of the 160th gunbirds.
Oh, wow.
81, 82, 83. Yeah, and I was like, dude, do you realize what you have? He's like,
history.
No, not really. Yeah, it was cool because some of the crew chiefs were like E3s and E4s back then. They're sergeant majors now, retired. And I reached out to him. I'd take pictures of the logbook, and I said, hey, you remember working on this bird? But he dedicated the helicopter to Mike Dillon. And
who's Mike?
This helicopter has a minigun and a rocket pod on it.
Oh, it does?
Oh, yeah.
Functioning?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So that's where, Mike Dillon helped him out, Dillon Aero, that produces the M134 minigun. But the tail number of the helicopter is November. All U.S. aircraft start with an N.
Right.
And then I think it's 160 Delta Alpha, Dillon Aero. 160th Dillon Aero.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
Is that the one it's always had, or did he get that custom?
He registered it.
You got it.
As that, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Yeah, there's going to be 300 little birds at this deal.
And where's that going to be?
Mesa, Arizona, at the factory. That's where they build. Now it's Boeing, McDonnell, Douglas, Hughes. I don't know, but that's where they build the Apache and then the AH-6 little birds.
Dude, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
They got events set up, or is it just a fly-in meet and greet? Or are they going to have like any aerial things going on? Or
no, it's just static display and meet and greet. It's the 10th and the 11th, so Veterans Day.
Okay.
10th and 11th of November.
Is that open to the public?
No, it's not.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
I might get sneaky in if you're around. So
yeah, that would be something I would definitely love to attend. That would be awesome. Talking to some of those guys.
We were talking about these other generations and writing and capturing these moments, and I've had tons of guys and young women and ladies and moms and wives. Hey, I'd really like to write. And I said, hey, just free write. That's what you pay editors for. They'll put all that stuff together and make it legible.
Yeah.
From start to finish, it was 89 days for me writing that book. It's 420 pages.
Well, I mean, it was how many years when you started in 2001 until then,
Yes.
So it's a lot longer than 86 days, that you were working on this book.
Oh, yeah.
It's years.
Yeah.
But you got all your shit together and got it done in 86 days. What's that say about Navy SEALs that write these books? It usually takes them, years to write.
No comment.
You got yours done in a couple of months.
Yeah. That's like I'd tell, my buddies, ground guys, special operations ground guys, I was like, well, if you're really smart, you'd be flying AHs. You would be a Delta operator, a Ranger, or a Special Forces, or they all, we poke at each other because we love each other.
Absolutely. That's the fun part about it, busting each other's chops.
Yep. Yeah, if we don't, we probably don't like you, so just go away.
There you go. That's the prime Prime teller right there if they're not busting your chops.
Yes,
but
sir.
The book, I want to talk more as we get into the conversation about your book, about your service history. But you also started a hobby a few years ago, and I think you've turned it into a business now. Sounds like.
No, it's a hobby.
It's a hobby. But you're running as a nonprofit. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
The Blades for Brothers.
Yes, sir. Blades for Brothers.
Blades for Brothers. So you started forging knives, about 4 or 5 years ago?
No, it was less than 2 years ago, actually.
So even less. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, JJ called me, but I've got several friends that I've met over the years at Blade Show or SHOT Show. We go there and see what was new, or get to talk to industry professionals and tell them, hey, I need a tool that does this, this, and this, or I need a scope that, or a bullet, or whatever the case. So that's where I met those fellas, and just great men. And I've got several friends of mine that after they retired, they started making knives and making tools and things. And I'm like, man, what are all these guys doing, And so I was just busy with life, and I was running my own little company. And JJ, he called me up he'd been pestering me. He's like, hey, I got the forge going. It's August in Texas. I'm like, okay, I'll come over.
Call me in October.
Yeah, we're not the smartest men on the planet, but we work hard. And so I drove over one day, and I jumped right in. And of course, Jared, great instructor and teacher, and he'd been to one kind of school, bladesmithing school, and learned some things. And I forged out a blade, a railroad spike, and one, they're cheap and they're easy, and they make the steel in them's not very good. It's a low carbon steel.
Yeah.
They're cool to learn on and practice on. And
I've got my knife back there made from a railroad spike.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
This is my don't laugh, man. So this is my very first knife.
So you have your very first one. Nice.
That's a railroad spike.
Jared didn't have his.
He didn't?
He didn't. He said, I was like, do you still have your very first knife? He's like, no.
Oh, he made that back in high school.
Well, I think he said that it's like morphed over the years, and he added it to something else, and it turned into something else, or something along those lines.
Yeah, he has a coal forge, and I wanted to learn the way they did it 300 years ago, or 400 or whatever.
Well, knives have been made for millions of years.
Yes,
they were making them out of stones and bones, and they're still digging them up to this day.
Tools from the earth. That's how you make steel.
Yeah.
So I hammer forged it, and
this is just kind of in our DNA.
It is
making knives and blades and sharp stabby thingies,
weapons.
It's in our DNA. We've been doing it for millions of years. Tools. We call them tools.
Yeah, looking back, I was like, I can remember making, I wouldn't call it a knife. I think it was more like I don't know what it was, but I found an old lawnmower blade. I was probably 11 or 12 years old. Lawnmower blade.
It's the same thing.
Got the hacksaw, cut it,
Yep.
Then a file. I filed on that thing probably for 4 or 5 days, shaping it. And I think probably used some inner tube or rawhide leather or something, made a handle out of it. And,
I did the same thing.
I'm down trees with it, and,
I did the same thing. My dad had one of those grinders, one of those stone grinders.
Yes.
And there was a pair of broken hedge clippers.
There you go.
And they were broken in 2 pieces. I was like, ooh, these would make awesome little swords.
There you go.
So I took it to his grinder, and same thing with the lawnmower blade. One of his old lawnmower blades, I took that and did the exact same thing you did. Got some leather, wrapped a handle down there, and there's my big machete right there, baby.
It's got to be in our DNA, man.
It has to be. There's no doubt about it. So 2 years ago, Jared got you into this. I was thinking that you got Jared into this. So
No.
He got you into this.
Yeah, he'd been going about a year, not long before that. And, man, we both, we just took off. And I really enjoyed it. And it's therapeutic. It really is.
Yeah.
Now I know why all my buddies that I served with are knife makers, because you get therapy from it.
Yeah, it keeps you busy, keeps you active.
It keeps our brains engaged. And while I'm thinking about it, so I got a cool story. So I go see this neurologist every year down in Florida, and I've been seeing him like 7 years now due to TBI and a bunch of other junk. And I love this guy, Dr. Brett Osborne is his name. But anyway, and then when I first get there, I do a bunch of testing.
Yeah.
All types of testing.
Like scanning and
that's written and puzzles and gosh, I can't. The name of them were just on the tip of my tongue.
Some kind of cognitive recall stuff.
Yes, cognitive testing. And last year, and Edie, she's always with me, but he walks in, he goes, "Hey, Greg," he said, "I don't know what you've been doing, but you need to keep doing it." He said, "Your test scores have gone off the chart, up." And Edie looked at him and says, "Well, he wrote a book, and he started making knives." So Doc thought about that for a second, and he's like, "Okay, it's art, writing, and knife making. It's geometry, it's trigonometry, it's problem solving, it's all these things that keep firing these neurons in our brains."
Yeah,
it helps. Yeah. So,
do you feel smarter now than 30 years ago?
No, I don't. I think there's some degradation. I'm degrading.
You're degrading. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's one of our downfalls is we're constantly dying.
So I started going to JJ's, every day now. I'm like, okay, man, I want to teach me how to do this. Let's do this. Let's different techniques and heat treating and how to hammer that blade to a specific shape. And then we started doing stock removal, where you take raw high carbon steel, a bar, and cut out your shape and then shape it and grind it. And man, I was just like, okay, man, I'm hooked. I love this. So I reached out to some gentlemen I know in the knife industry. They're all master bladesmiths. Steve Schwarzer, John Horrigan, Bill Harsey. I mean, world-renowned knife makers. And there's others too, Jim Poor. Yeah, just great. And I love this industry because everybody wants to help you.
Yeah.
Unlike other industries I've been in where they want to cut your throat and steal your ideas and run away.
Yeah.
But no, everybody's just embraced me, and I ask them a million questions, and I call them late at night or early in the morning, and what about this and what about that? And, and they just, their patience are just incredible. Incredible.
Now, are you going to write you're going to write a book on knife making?
I am. I've started it.
It just makes sense. It makes sense that you would.
Jim Poor inspired me about a month ago. He goes, "Greg, you need to write a book and call it My Journey to Knife Making." That's what I'm going to call it.
Jim Poor.
Jim Poor. Flatland Forge is the name of his company.
Okay, so he's a knife maker also?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a world-renowned horseshoer, knife maker. His company, they make hammers, so forging hammers, horseshoers, that forge shoes at their hammers, tongs, all that equipment that horseshoers and knife makers need. So yep, he's out there by Abilene, not far from me.
Now you said you did a lot of roping and steering and all that growing up too. And did you do some shoeing and did that come into play with your knife making?
It did. Absolutely, it did. Yes, sir. Yeah, I learned to forge horseshoes and fitting, shoes to feet or hoofs, and I started out with working with Dilton Emerson. He owns Emerson Horseshoe Supply now, and very renowned horseshoer cowboy, Donnie Lefflett. Yeah, another fellow named Junior. But yeah, it was. Yeah, and I went back to that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this and why I did this or how I did it. So. Yeah, and so I'd call these guys. I'd call Chris Williams and Steve Schwartzer and John Horgan and say, hey, can I come and, watch you? Absolutely. You're not going to watch anything. You're going to do. I said, okay. So, yeah, I'd go spend a week. I mean, I'd fly out to Oregon, hang out with Bill Harsey and learn how to grind a dagger, hollow grind a dagger. Go to Steve Schwartzer's for a week and learn how to make Damascus. And, he's one of the most world-renowned guys on Damascus steel, and how to make all these crazy designs. And Chris Williams went out and worked with him for a week, and again learning how to do forge welded or Damascus steel.
Yeah.
And I made my first Damascus chef knife out at Chris's.
Is that it there?
Also owns, that's 320 layers of steel. You can see it.
Nice.
My first, and my wife Edie gets every number one. So this is hers. But yeah, it's just cool, And Chris owns Wilmot Grinders. It's a commercial knife grinder.
Where's that out of?
Out there by Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris and I served together in the Army. Yep. And but yeah, I'd call these fellas and I'd seek out the best. I'm like, hey, I'm new. They're like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're very fortunate in the circles that you travel that you're able to reach out to those guys during this process and have them, as your mentors, kind of speaking. Where the majority of us that start off in this don't have, and I say us, I'm not a knife maker. I haven't got into it yet, but again, it's something that I'm looking at wanting to do.
Lefty, come down and we will make some knives.
We're going to make some sharp, stabby things.
Yeah, hatchets and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I want to make swords. I want to make big, giant, long things.
We'll make you a sword.
All right. I'm down with that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's been really cool. And so I started, at that point, I'd been going about a year. And I mean, I took half of a 2-bay garage and made that my shop. And I've got a Wilmot grinder in there. I've got a commercial heat treat oven from Paragon. And, I started buying stuff and making these blades, and people paid money for them. I was like, hey, this is kind of cool,
Yeah.
And
it makes you feel rewarded. It's where people actually enjoy something that I created.
Sure it does. Yeah, and it's cool to look back, like from my first knife I made, and then making. I mean, here's like this is one I just finished. I call this my gravy gutter. That's my nickname is Gravy. But this is a Skinner. This is AEBL stainless steel.
I like that pattern on the grip.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out, and I do it by hand on my grinder, and it's just scallops. Yeah, it just makes the knife real grippy when you're bloody and skinning and all kind of cool stuff like that. But
that's like
it's got the Hunter orange, and then I use this Hunter orange lanyard, and this lanyard's got reflective tape in it. So because I've always worried about losing it.
Oh yeah.
That way, if you're looking with a flashlight.
I'm waiting for somebody to build in one of those built-in GPS thing. Yeah, I've got one. I lost this last deer season. I still hadn't found it yet. I need to take a metal detector out there, but
yes,
it was my favorite Skinner, and I lost it. Dadgummit.
Yeah. So, I got thinking about this a bunch, and I'm like, you know what? And a couple guys had. They're like, hey, you make knives? And I'm like, yeah, man, come on over. They come over, hang out, and Jared come hang out, and we crank the forge up, and then I got a press. I got a coal iron work 16-ton press, And that thing will move some steel, brother.
Oh, I'll bet it will.
No.
You make some propellers out of that, probably.
Yeah. So I got it. You know, when you're welding steel, you need, I hand hammered my first Damascus knife. It was a small chef knife.
Yeah.
It took 3 days to hammer 84 layers of steel. But again, I'm like, I want to know how they did this. Yeah. I would start with a 4-pound hammer at 6 a.m. And by 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was down to a 2-pound hammer. But then I just call it a day.
Have you noticed in the past 2 years your forearms are getting bigger?
Yeah, like Popeye.
Like Popeye? Hey,
But so I did it, and it was a neat experience. But after that, I said, I'm getting a press so I can move some steel. Now I can move that steel in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
With a big press. So yeah, but guys come hang out.
But you worked your way up to all that. You kind of started off with the basic, learned that, and then you've moved up to this higher end equipment stuff.
I learn every day. I never quit learning. We should never, as humans, quit learning. Always strive to read and learn and make yourself a better human being.
As Paul Markle says, you're a beginner once, but you're a student for life.
Yes, sir. Yes. Amen to that. Yeah, so last October, I was like, so I started researching, and I said, man, there aren't any like nonprofits, that where a vet or a first responder could go, because, police officers, their suicide rate's almost as high as GIs now.
Yeah, it is. First responders and EMTs and all that.
Firefighters and EMT and police officers.
Yeah, it's way higher.
So, and I couldn't find one. I says, by golly, I'm going to start a nonprofit, and I'm going to call it Blades for Brothers, and I'm going to bring in vets and first responders and show them how to make a knife. That's awesome. What I've been doing.
Attention business owners. Are you ready to take your marketing game to the next level? Look no further than Black Tie Digital Marketing, the firearm-friendly, full-service agency that delivers results. We've worked with industry giants like Kel-Tec, Spikes Tactical, and Armalite, and we even designed the kick-ass new logo at Talkin' Lead. At Black Tie, we blend creativity and data-driven strategies to ensure your message hits the mark every time. From high-end custom websites, graphic design, to inbound marketing campaigns, and everything in between, we've got you covered. Your success is our priority. Join the ranks of the industry's top players and give your business the boost it deserves. Experience the power of Black Tie today. Visit blacktiedigital.com or call 1-800-316-8030 to schedule your free consultation. That's Black Tie Digital Marketing, where firepower meets marketing power. Black Tie Digital Marketing is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
You know what would be cool? This is just me thinking. You may be doing this. You say you bring in firemen and police officers and military men and women. And what got me thinking about this when you were talking about the helicopters, and I said the helicopter blade, you should make a knife out of like pieces of old decommissioned helicopters that people served.
You mean like this?
Like you already done? Look at that.
Yeah.
What is that? Now, tell us what we're looking at.
So this is
Damascus.
This is what I call my war steel collection. I went out to Steve Schwartzer's, and I told him the story, and John Horrigan and a couple others what my intent was. Anyway, so I got shot down in 2004 in Iraq, and I came into the ownership of the 12 minigun barrels off of my miniguns.
Oh.
And a couple other pieces and parts, like a piece of the rotor blade and the vertical off the T-tail. So on our aircraft, the tail is looks like a T, so I got the vertical off of it after the crash and stuff. So anyway, so I carried that stuff around with me for years, and I actually had reached out to Greg Medford Knife and Tool years ago.
Yeah.
And he made some blades out of some of the barrels, a folder.
Oh, cool.
And I think I got like 10 or 11 of them total. But I sent them to the guys that were with me on the ground that day as a, souvenir or whatever. And yep. And so I was like, man, now that I'm into knife making and, kind of back into studying metallurgy and those things, and I talked to Steve Schwartzer, and I told him what I wanted to do. I said, I want to make some blades that I can auction and then donate the money. I said, and I've got these mini gun barrels. Well, gun barrels are made from, these are 4130 steel, and they've got a lot of chromium in them. Plus, the barrels have a chrome liner in them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get rid of the chrome liner. So I did that. I chopped them up into about 1-inch pieces, I guess. I had a few left over. And went out to Steve's, and we forge welded those things. And it was actually in September. And on September 11th, I was there at Steve and Laura Schwartzer's shop, and they brought me a big piece of steel from the World Trade Center. And says, hey, we want to gift this to you on 9/11. And we want you to put this into the steel that you're making.
Huh. Yeah.
Oh, man, it just ripped my heart out. I was so honored, and, for them to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we made this giant billet. I got 4 blades. So this one's called the Leon. These are going like, I don't know, 3,000 layers, something crazy of folded steel.
Wow.
So I made this handle. Well, you can see it. I used epoxy, but in these handles is a piece of the T-tail on one side. This side has a piece of the main rotor blade in it. I just cut them out. This is a button off of one of the 7.62 bullets that were recovered from the crash site. This is a piece of my flight suit I was wearing that day.
That is awesome.
And then I put this a 7.62 bullet that was recovered from the crash site.
Yeah.
This is a 7.62 link.
This is all in the handle, guys, that he's describing here.
It's all in the hand. And I made this. I used epoxy in a form. It took me many attempts to finally get it right, because I don't have a clue what I'm doing, man. I just do it. And so yeah, it really turned out cool. So this is one of my auction blades that I've got. You can go on my website, bladesforbrothers.com, and all the information is on it. And this one, I named my knives after my buddies that I served with or that we've lost. So this one's called the Leon.
The Leon? Okay.
Master Sergeant Leon Hansen took his life in June of 2015. Former Delta guy. And
now, is that the one that's made from the barrel, the gun barrel?
Gun barrel and World Trade Center.
And World Trade Center. And how many knives did you make from those?
I made 4. So this one is my EDC. I call it the Mini Bob. The same steel. Damascus. That's a Mini Bob. And then this is the Bob.
The Mini Bob, and the Bob.
Yeah, I served with Bob. He was in Delta. He was killed in Iraq in 2005.
And what's in the grip on that one?
So this one I call the Purple Heart. So this is Purple Heart wood. Okay, and then these are my miniature Purple Hearts that I embedded into the handles.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, that's the Purple Heart. And then this is my favorite. This is the 6-gun dagger.
Oh, look at that. That is awesome.
So yeah.
You got like a coffin handle on that one?
Yes, sir. Got a coffin handle. I made all these stacks and hand guard and then I went to a knife show this spring, my first big knife show, and I won Best Dagger of Show.
Look at that. Already winning rewards and awards.
I've been making knives for like a year. And the guy asked, he called my name, and everybody was telling me, they're like, bro, you got to put that knife in there. You got to put it in. I was like, no, man, I'm a nobody. You know, they're forged and fire champions at this. There's probably 10 or 12 of them at this big knife show in South Texas, you know, and world-renowned knife makers. I'm like, finally, Jared and I were down there together, and my wife, Edie, and he's like, dude, if you don't put that thing in, I'm going to go put it in. And sure enough, it won Dagger of the show.
Congratulations.
And, the dude, he's like, you know, congratulations, Greg. And he's like, how long you been making knives? And I said, about a year. He goes, I hate you, man. Because a dagger is the most difficult to grind. Because you've got four sides, you know, and you got to center all these lines up. And I'm a real attention to detail kind of guy. It's just from being an aviator and pilot. I was real proud of this one too. So they're all made out of war steel. So minigun barrels and World Trade Center steel.
Would propellers be a good thing to make knives out of?
No, they're sheet metal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing on a helicopter. Except for the gun barrels. You know, if you fly Gunbird, because that's the only real steel that's on them, I guess.
The landing gear, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. Skids.
The skids. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
But
I was saying, like if a firefighter or somebody sits you like a piece of their fire engine or, you know, something like that, or what about a badge? Is a badge something? Can you make is a badge something you can make a knife out of?
No.
Wrong kind of steel?
It could be either stainless steel or a high carbon steel.
Yeah. I don't know what they make badges out of, so I don't know.
80% carbon or higher.
Yeah.
So.
But that's a nice tribute that you did there. So these knives that you just talked about, those are going to be going for auctions, that you said?
Yes, sir.
On your website?
Yeah, they're on my website.
Okay.
Or I'll sell them, you know, if the price is right.
So I'm going to screen share here, Greg. Bring up your website here, and it's Blades for Brothers. As we're talking, you guys can go check it out. It's BLADES FOR Brothers, BROTHERS.com. And this is your company. This is you and your wife's nonprofit.
Yes, correct.
Company. So
every penny goes back into it, or like I raised some money this year, and I had a couple vets came in, you know, teach them how to forge, make knives, and I bought grinders for them. So 2x72 grinders, and then gifted them to those combat vets. Yeah, one's a Marine, one's Army engineer, Purple Heart recipient, Matt Chuck. And yeah, so that was cool, man. Wilmot grinders, I got one from Chris Williams, and then the other grinder came from Outlaw Grinders, Matt Humphreys, and the Slip Joint Cartel donated that one to us.
Slip Joint Cartel, I like that name.
Those are pocket knives.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to ask you, how'd you get the nickname Gravy?
It's in the book.
Yeah, okay, so they got to get the book to find that out?
Yeah.
Now, this is a nice dagger. I like this.
That was my first.
This is your first one?
First one.
Like, it looks kind of old, like World War II-ish kind of deal.
It does, man. It turned out, again, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to do it. And I've got piles and piles of steel that I ruined or broke or didn't do right. But that's all part of the process, man. That's how you learn.
Oh, absolutely. So, are you doing these specifically for veterans, for first responders, for military men and women? Everything, 100% of this goes to them? Is that what you're saying? Everything you make from this?
The blades that I make, okay, they get sold for a donation. And then that money goes back into Blades for Brothers, or I buy equipment and steel and stuff for the vets and first responders that come in and make a knife.
Okay. So you've got like a workshop for them to come in and learn the trade.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. And that's what the new shop, it's huge, man. I wish I could have taken you out there to it, but it's 5 times the size of my little shop now. And like I said earlier, it's going to have a bunkhouse in it. So, it usually takes a couple days, or if a guy wants to come out and make a knife, spend 2 or 3 days, and we'll go shoot some pigs, or we'll go. I got a couple ranges here at our place. We have 60 acres here, so yeah.
So I'm looking at the ones you just showed me. If you guys go to his website, go to the War Steel Collection section there. Each of those is there, and it's got the reserve price. And then is there a place on here where they can go and bid on these?
Yeah, in the instructions, you can send me an email.
Okay, just send an email.
Yep.
And these are one of a kinds.
That's it.
The
There's
only
no more
ones,
of that steel on the planet, and there never will be.
And there never will be. That's amazing.
I didn't price them. I went to the experts in this industry, and and a couple of them are like, "Well, what do you think you should get for them?" I said, "Man, if I could get like $3,000 or $4,000 for all 4, that'd be cool." And they're like, "You're stupid."
Yeah.
Like that one
they
priced at $20,000 for that knife.
The Leon, we were talking about the Leon earlier. Master Sergeant Leon Hansen.
Yep. Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, this is steel that was actually used in a Little Bird and the Trade Center, the World Trade Center.
Yes, sir.
Mixed together, yeah. I mean, this is a one of a kind, never to exist again opportunity, and I think even those prices are low.
Yeah, that's what they told me
for these. But they're beautiful knives, man. You do beautiful work.
Thank you.
Now, if Joe Schmo like me wants to buy a knife from you, do you have some that are already made, or is this something I got to get in touch with you and we got to do a custom?
No, you go on the website there. It's under
shop.
Yes, shop. And there's examples of my normal blades that I want, that you would want, and then you just order them.
Now, I know Jared said that he always kind of keeps a few ahead of kind of demand, so he's got some.
Wish I could. I can't make them fast enough, brother. I cannot.
So these are. It's like if I ordered this one right now, I would have to wait for you to make it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm trying to build expectations for people.
Yes. Yeah. And I tell folks, hey, 6 to 8 weeks from the time you order.
Oh, I mean, that's not bad turn time at all.
No, and most of the time I can ship in 2 to 3. But like this last group, I had 11 knives that I finished and shipped yesterday. And a couple of them were at 7 weeks. One of them was at 2 weeks. Yeah, so it just
depends on how well the forging goes that day, right?
Yes, sir.
I like your dagger. I really like your dagger. I mean, I can see how you won that award.
That thing's been a hot selling item here lately, and those take a lot of time.
Do they?
To make, yes, sir.
It's because, like you said, the 4 sides, and you've got this.
Yes, sir.
Is that? I don't want to. Is it spine? Is that what that is?
Yeah, on the spine there, and where the 2 blades meet.
And these are full.
I actually have a new design dagger, and it's better looking than that one.
These are all full tang too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, people ask me, they're like, why didn't you make half tang knives? I said, well, I had 2 when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They were skinning knives, and both those suckers broke.
Yeah, they always break.
And I said, you know what? I'll only make full tang knives.
Good for you.
So that's what you get.
I'll back that 100%.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, they look cool and all, and you look at the old buoys, and a lot of half tang, hidden tang knives were made, and I think it was mainly to save steel. Maybe they didn't have enough steel to do a full tang, or when they hammer forged it out, it wasn't long enough to be I don't know. That's kind of my
all
theory.
kinds of different reasons why, probably. But yeah, nothing like a full tang.
You only get a full tang knife from me.
And I want to rewind a little bit because we were doing some conversation there, and you mentioned that you were shot down.
Yes. In
2004?
Yes, 19 March 2004 at 13:05 hours local.
Is that something you can tell that story?
Sure. Yeah, I've told it a bunch.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard it yet, so tell it to me. This is my first time hearing it.
Oh man, you hadn't read the book. I should have.
I haven't. I don't have the book yet. I need to get the book. It's on my list.
Yeah.
So you've heard of Jim Shockey, haven't you?
Oh yes. Yeah, I met him a couple times at SHOT Show.
Yeah, so he wrote a book.
Yes.
And it's coming out, I think next month, October. And he's had some tragedy, strike his family here recently. His wife passed away. Condolences and prayers to Jim. And we've had to reschedule a couple of times, but I just got through this book, and it's not like anything you would expect. If you say, hey, I'm reading a book from Jim Shockey, it's like, oh, wow. This is like a psychological thriller right here, man.
Oh, cool.
It's really good. It's fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I'll
really
get
good.
it and read it or listen to it. I like to listen to audibles because I'm in the shop and I like putting my ear pro in, and listen to a book.
Yeah, I'm down with that too.
I feel I'm old school. I like to hold a book in my hand and read it, and I think I got. Yeah, this is.
It just takes too much time.
This is one of the hardbacks, and
nice. Death waits in the dark.
Back to the book. Yeah, I did a special edition hardback, which was I did 1,000 of them, and I did 500 first, and you got a coin. The coin was numbered, and the book was numbered.
Oh, sweet.
And, of course, it was signed by me. And I kept a few. A really good friend of mine, he's a Texas Ranger here, and he said, I was back in the spring, he goes, hey, I need a couple books. And I said, for what? He said, I need a couple books. So he came by and got them. And so I've got 2 of these. Every Texas Ranger in the state signed this book.
Oh, that is awesome, man.
Yeah, so I'll probably auction this off next year.
That's cool. And maybe put a special knife with it, like a Texas Ranger knife.
Yes. Yep. That's the plan.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And again, on the book, I made the decision to donate every penny of book sales. And I did. And we've donated $57,000 to date from book sales.
Congratulations. That is awesome, brother. And how long's the book been out?
It's cool.
How long's your book been out?
4 books. So I wasn't 100% satisfied with, I guess the editing. So I researched back last year, actually, found an editing company and had it re-edited. And it's complete now. So I'm praying that this winter I will get them reprinted.
Okay.
It'll be 2nd edition, same story, but it's just, I think it flows a lot better. I used a lot of acronyms, and we kind of got in a hurry there at the end. We got excited. Hey, this thing has come to fruition. Let's get it done. Let's get it out there. And yeah, so I got in too big a hurry, and we cleaned it up a bunch. And the crew that did the editing, man, did an awesome job. The chief editor's actually a retired colonel from the Army, and they just did a fantastic job, and I'm excited. But
now I know that you being Special Forces, being in the military, that your books have to go through a different process than, the normal writers. You got to go through governmental approval.
No, you don't.
You don't have to?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
I did a lot of research, and when I made the decision to do this, of course, then I had to find an editor. I had to find a printing company, and I looked into publishers. So what I found was that these publishing companies, they keep 70 to 80% of your royalties. I said, no, I'm not doing that. That's not in my plan. I want to make money and give it away to help my brothers and their families and their kids. So I self-published.
Okay.
And I educated myself on the process, and of course Amazon, which we have now, helped a bunch. But through social media, I probably sold 80% of the first the hardback sold out in like less than 20 days after I announced it. And that was pre-sale. I didn't even have a book in hand. And it was really, really good. But so I self-published the thing, and I shipped them. I took the orders. It's a lot of work. But
Are these in any bookstores at all, or
no?
You got it strictly online?
Those are publishing companies, and again, if you go to a bookstore, they want money. They want your money. They want your royalty. I mean, and at probably the last 1,000 softbacks, I just didn't have time anymore because it was every day. I put it on Amazon, but I would take care of all the shipping. They didn't have to do anything but advertise. And they still charged me every book I sold.
They get a percentage.
And then at the end, it doesn't go on Prime unless it's sold on Amazon. And I was like, oh, crap, man, I could reach a whole lot more folks. And I did that. Well, Amazon keeps 50% of what I sell the book for.
What?
Yep. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Criminals.
This next one, I'm going to do it all myself or get somebody here local to help. And because that's just a ton of money that they took away from people that I'm trying to help, from nonprofits. And
it's just taken away from your money. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I didn't make any. I haven't kept a dime of any of this, man. I paid for, printing and editing and stuff like that.
I get that. But I didn't realize that. That's crazy. So on top of, if you had a publisher, if you went through one of these publishing companies, so you'd be losing out to them, and if it's sold on Amazon, then you'd be losing even more.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then it hit me one day. I'm like, oh, that's why these top authors, they have to write 4 and 5 books a year, man. They're eating beanie weenies, and riding their bike to work or whatever. But
some of them are doing pretty well. I don't know. I had Brad Thor on. Do you know Brad?
Yes, I've actually had dinner with that man some years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I had him on earlier this year. He just released his next book, Deadfall.
Yeah, man. That guy's on fire. He's a good writer, too. I like.
Yeah. Brad.
I met with him in Dallas.
Or Scott Harvest.
Yes, sir. And talk about weapons that were going in his book. And, he does a lot of research, and he gets the right information. Yeah. I was pretty honored that, he
lives here in Nashville, too.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing all the publishing and everything on these books. Which do you have like an organization that it's going to, or do you just decide where it's going to go for your donations?
No, I decided to split it up. I'll send $5,000-$6,000 here, and $5,000-$6,000 here, $2,000 here, $3,000 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted everybody to have a little piece of the pie, and it is funny. I'd get phone calls and be like, "Greg, what's this check for?" I said, "It's a donation, you dumbass." They're like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. Yeah.
So with the book, all the proceeds are going there. You've got the Blades for Brothers, again, another nonprofit that you've set up. when did, and I asked this earlier, I don't know if you heard me, when did you release the book? When was the book
put out? It was 2 years ago in August, I think. Yeah, just 2 years ago.
Okay. So everything in your life happened about 2 years ago. You started no, I'm just kidding. You started foraging, you did the book, and it didn't take you long, you said, to write the book, which you...
Well, I got bored. My wife was like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go make knives.
You're like, Jared. My buddy Jared's over here, he's got a forge. Maybe I'll go check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, the book sold over 10,000 copies. And I was so excited that, it did that. And I mean, they've last I checked, there's almost 5,000 sold copies of Audible were sold, and Kindle's probably 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah. But
so
they're getting a chunk of that, though, right? Amazon's getting their chunk of that. Oh, yeah,
man. They're getting their cut. But so I looked it up one day, and I typed in Google, like, what's the average self-publisher, first-time writer, how many books do they sell? And, I mean, it popped right up, had all these experts, editors and writers. And for a first-time writer that self-publishes, just take a guess how many books they sell for the life of that book.
A first time that does everything themselves?
Yes. Writer, publisher.
For the life of the book?
For the life of the book. How many books do you think they sell?
I would say on average probably 5,000.
Between 300 and 500.
For the life of the book.
For the life of the book. We sold 10,000 in 2 years. Less than 2 years.
Wow. So
that's pretty cool.
They're with that bell curve.
I was blown away.
But just imagine, though, if you had a publisher, how many you'd sell.
Oh, man, it'd been crazy.
Millions.
But I would only gain, $10,000 maybe?
I don't know. That's crazy.
7,000.
I've seen some of these lifestyles that some of these authors and writers make, so they're making pretty good money. So I don't know. Sure. I don't know how they do it. But so your second book you wrote with your daughter, and it's a children's book. Is that out yet?
Yes, it's been out too for about 18 months. It's called V is for Veteran. It's a picture book, alphabet book.
Okay.
So we talk about our core values. Go figure. Like the Constitution, C for Constitution, those types of things. And you can get it through, I always get this wrong, it's called Punkin-Duger Publishing. Punkin-Duger Publishing.
Punkin?
Ukin. I'll look it up right quick.
Pukin.
Never get it right.
Duggar. What's the name of the book?
V for Veteran. Punkin-Duger. Here we go. PKD Publishing.
PKD Publishing. There it is right there.
Yeah, and there it is. First page. V is for Veteran. Yeah, he's a good friend of ours, and he writes a bunch of children's books. And they're just awesome.
Dancy Creel?
Dancy Creel, Miss Dancy, yes.
Okay. Dancy Creel, Gregory Coker,
yes.
Kyle Wagner.
Kyle, yes, sir.
Where's your daughter's name on there?
Dancy Creel.
Oh, that's Dan. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's my wife's daughter.
Dancy. That's a unique name.
Yes. She's an incredible young woman. She is.
Very cool. So you guys can go to Amazon and get this, or can you get it from that publisher that you mentioned?
Yes.
And you don't have to give Amazon the money.
That's right.
Punkin-Duger. Punkindooger. Leadheads.
Duger.
And it's on sale for $17.99 right now.
Yes, sir. Yep. That gentleman on the cover, he was in the Navy as a World War II vet that Dancy had met up in Wichita Falls.
Wichita?
Yep, Wichita. Wichita Falls.
The Alphabet Picture Book is a nod to the many soldiers, past, present, and future, in the armed forces of the USA. By highlighting the virtues of our American heroes, V is for Veteran serves as a unique character education useful to all readers. While your little heroes watch the art-filled pages come to life, V for Veteran provides interesting facts and tidbits for older readers as well, making this a unique book for all ages.
Yes. Yeah, it's very educational. B is for bravery. But you see the QR code.
Yeah.
Every
right
page has a QR code.
Okay.
And you scan that code with your phone, then it takes you to the website and gives you more detailed, in-depth information on that word.
Oh, where's the website?
I don't know if Kyle set that up or he had somebody set it up, but yeah, you can scan that QR code.
Oh, no, I'm going to scan it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's unique. So it's just a way to, to get out more information because you only have so much room on a page.
But it's actually genius because kids nowadays, even the young kids, are just infatuated with phones.
Yes.
And this actually gives them something
educational
to do with their stupid phones.
Yes.
Oh, it's not working. Hold on. Oh, they need to check that QR code. It's not working.
Oh, okay.
But it goes to Pumpkin Duger, is what it says it's going to. Is this?
Okay.
This your publisher's website here. But yeah, I like that idea. They just need to get it to work. Make sure that the links are still working. And this came out. When did this come out?
Oh, about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, about 18 months ago.
Very cool. So there's a great book for your little ones, Leadhead. Go check them out. pumpkinduger.com. Yeah, your kids, your grandkids, even your grown-up people, like it says.
Yes. Absolutely.
What do they have for Z? What's Z?
What was Z? Oh, Zulu, I think. Time.
For time, Zulu? Okay.
I think. I don't remember, man. I'd have to look it up.
You made too many knives since then.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The Kel-Tec KSG 410 is the perfect sidekick with no kick. At just over 1.5 inches wide, just over 26 inches long, and just over 5 pounds, you'll be hard-pressed to find a more impressive 410 bore shotgun. In fact, it's the world's first and only pump-action 410 bore bullpup shotgun. The side-by-side dual feeding tubes and one in the chamber delivers an impressive 11-round total capacity, making it as functional as it is fun. Innovation, performance, Kel-Tec. Kel-Tec is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
So we didn't talk about the crash, so let's get back to the crash. We chase squirrels on this show, Greg.
Yes, we do. Now, I want to get one thing clear.
All right.
I did not crash. I got shot down.
Okay. You didn't screw the pooch.
All my buddies said, like, hey, Gravy, tell us about your crash. I'm like, I didn't crash. I got shot down. That's different. So, okay, and I'll proceed it with 18 March 2004. So we're operating in Fallujah, Ramadi, real heavy. The insurgency is building. It started about October, November 2003. Everybody came to jihad against the Americans. We were all centrally located. So the terrorists were like, well, heck, let's just go there and fight them, So we started to see a big influx of terrorists, yes, in Iraq. So, gosh, man, we've been going and blowing for days, and we hit a target in Fallujah. Well, we hit several. We'd hit, depending on winter or summer, and this was, late winter, so we could hit 5, 6, 7 targets a night because we have more darkness than we do in the summertime. Summertime, we're lucky to hit 4.
And you guys only operate at night because you are the Night Stalkers.
Yes, we are not day stalkers. We are night stalkers. So, yeah. And the units we support are also night fighters. So, yeah. So, we got some intel off of the target that another high-value terrorist we were hunting was going to be at a meeting at 10 o'clock that morning in Fallujah. Okay. Now, let me set the stage for Fallujah, Iraq in 2004.
Okay.
It was the Wild Wild West. I mean, it was crazy. We were in gunfights every night, multiple times per night. And so I'm going to try to draw a picture for you. So if you look at Fallujah and then west to Ramadi and then kind of southeast down to Amaria, that makes a triangle.
Here, let me pull up a map.
Sure.
Spell Fallujah.
F-A-L-L. It's spelled different couple of ways.
U-J-A, there it is.
Yeah.
Fallujah. Let's go to maps. All right. Fallujah to
then west to Ramadi.
There's Ramadi.
Yeah. And then kind of to the southeast, just east of the lake, there's a little town called Amaria. I don't even know if it'd be on there. Keep going down south. Dude, not that far south.
There's a Al-Rahala.
No, it's further north than there. Yeah, it's kind of small.
Yeah, they're not.
There was a lot of terrorists.
So
there.
something like
triangle.
This.
Yep. So in that triangle, God, there were thousands of foreign fighters. Thousands, right? So we get, intel hunting Al-Qaeda networks. So we hit a target in Fallujah that night. Got intel. There's this high-value target we were hunting. He was going to be at a meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 19th in Fallujah.
Right.
Of course, we were like, oh, God, daytime. No. Anyway, so troop commander, sergeant major, they're like, hey, here's what we're going to do. AHs, you guys we had a little staging area just east of Fallujah. It's like, you guys just stay here, crank up, and then we're going to go hit the target. And if we need fire support, we'll call you. And we could be there in a couple minutes.
Right.
Pretty quick. So that's what we did. They hit that target. They got some more intel that another dude we were hunting was in Amaria, down south. So Sergeant Major said, hey, AHs, you guys go back to Baghdad and get some rest. And we, like I said, we've been going nonstop for days and days and days. So we're like, roger that. So the ground force said, hey, we're just going to drive down there and kill the guy, and then we're going to go back to Baghdad. Okay. So we go back to Baghdad, and it was, I don't know, around 12:30-ish that guys came running in and said, hey, the recce guys got hit. They're in a TIC, Troops in Contact, a TIC. We just call it a TIC.
TIC.
It stands for Troops in Contact. So they'd been ambushed. So the four of us, we ran out to our AHs, cranked up. It was a 10-minute flight, 10, 12-minute flight out there to them. So we get on station and start holding. We make comms with the ground force, and it was B Squadron Delta, and trying to get an update or a situation report, and is everybody okay? And we did a couple engagements. Dudes were trying to flank, it appeared, and engaged them, terminated them, and then we were all just like, God, man, daytime, we're in the worst possible place on earth right now for bad guys, and we're in little black helicopters. Oh, gosh, I remember on October 3rd, 1993, in a little place called Mogadishu, Somalia.
Oh.
Same thing. Day hit, Black Hawk down. Ugh. And for me personally, I mean, the hair, when I cranked my helicopter, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. I was like, man, okay, we're going. And my co-pilot, he was brand new. I mean, brand new to the company, but we were short guys. And, you know, there's at any one time, there are only 22 men on the planet that do what we do. And that's fly AH-6 attack helicopters, providing Special Operations ground forces with surgical precision fire support. We're fire supporters. Okay?
You have a very specific job.
Very specific. And the ground force has full faith and confidence in our abilities to shoot extremely close to them. Okay? We train with live people run on the ground. We train with live ammo. Every training iteration is a live fire. But that's how we train, and that's why they are the best on the planet, bar none. I spent 15 years there. And oh, by the way, we're also very, very close. We love one another very much. And we always know that if anything bad happens to us, they will come get us. And they know if anything bad happens to them, like today, we're going to come help you. We're going to come get you. So kind of an unwritten rule between us. And, you know, just flying out there, man, I mean, I was just hypersensitive. Of course, I hate flying during the daytime. It's scary. Right. I like those tubes in front of my eyes, and my world's green. I am safe. I actually fly better at night under night vision goggles.
You probably got more hours with those, don't you?
Yeah.
Probably got more hours flying with nods than not.
Yeah, I got over 6,000 hours flying with NVGs.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I got more time under NVGs than most guys have flying. Yeah. Anyway, so everybody was hypersensitive, but the guys were in trouble, and we didn't have a clear picture of what was going on the ground. You know, had they taken casualties? Did they need to break contact? How big a force? So we hauled ass, man. We jumped.
Where are you picking them up at again?
Pardon?
Where are you hauling ass to?
Down to Amaria, where that recce team went to go kill that guy.
Down south of that lake there.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
South of Fallujah. I think it's about 14 miles, something like that, from south of Fallujah. And we were in Baghdad, at Baghdad International Airport. That's where we were all living then.
Okay.
And then we, later on in like 05, moved up to Balad. But anyway. So yeah, and I told my co-pilot, or in our SOP and B company, whoever's not flying, you've got your M4 up, ready to engage or suppress.
Right.
That's just how we do business. And I told him, I said, dude, if you even think, man, I want you to start suppressing or shooting them. And we do have a training program that I actually developed back in the early 90s. It's called HARM, Helicopter Aerial Rifle Marksmanship. And I can guarantee a first shot hit at 80 knots and 100 yards from a target, shooting out of a moving object. So there's some science to it. But anyway, and we train that stuff all the time. But so we get on station and make communication, make comms with the ground force, and get a situation report, what's going on. And they had done what they needed to do, and they were all lined up on this road. And now we're just in Overwatch. We fly a circle around whoever we're protecting.
Right.
They had 2 Panders, which is an armored, big 6-wheeled armored vehicle, and then they had 3 gun trucks, so they're Humvees, up armored, and then they have 50s, and then one truck had dual 240s in it, and then the Rangers man those guns in the trucks. So, yeah, we're overhead, and we're doing close reconnaissance or recce's, make sure nobody's trying to get to them or flank them or do whatever. And it was about 1:13:15, so 1:15 p.m. Iraq time. And the troop commander just called and said, "Hey, we're going to the house." We're like, "Whew, Roger that, man. Let's get this hell out of here, dude. It's a bad place."
Yeah.
So
we're exposed here. Get us out of here.
Yeah. And I did. I kept thinking of, Mike Grant and Shugart and Gordo and all those guys Elvis, all those guys that were, there in the Moog that day. And I was like, doggone, man, we got to get out of here. Of course, I was probably 10 feet off the deck, and I'd pop up, and I didn't want to, straight and level.
We both moving target so they can't hit you. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do, and we're trained to do. Keeps us alive. And I come around and I did a real low pass over the trucks. I was turning up on the side, and we kind of wave at each other, and then we go on, and so I'd done that, and I was in a climbing right-hand turn. I was about 165 feet and heading to the southwest, and just all of a sudden, man, just this explosion. I mean, a big explosion. I've been in mortar attacks and rocket attacks and been hit by that fragmentation and stuff. And then just the whole aircraft shook, and then this white hot rod about 3 meters long went right by my right ear. I had my helmet on, but went right by my head.
Okay, Leadheads, so that does it for part 1 of the Greg Coker interview. Hope you enjoyed that, and I kind of left you hanging there on the end. So we pick up with his story about his downed AH-6, and we've got lots more stories in part 2 to go along with that. More about his book, more about his knife making, and then we also answer the listener questions. So make sure you don't miss part 2. And again, go and show all of our sponsors the love from the Leadhead Brigade, and especially our newest sponsor, Whiskey River Beef. Hit them up on the Instagram at Whiskey River Life and let them know you heard about them here. Until the next episode, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close and keep those daggum firearms closer.